Welcome to Pax Europiana. This is now a warning because I want to warn all Serb nationalists and government extremists who might have had any consideration for breaking the peace in the Balkans. I'm sure there are some who, in the light of the Russian war and attack on Ukraine, were considering it opportune and thinkable to reconquer, for example, the north of Kosovo, or encourage the Bosnian Serbs for a declaration of independence. And I'm sure some of them, they were thinking in that direction. I want to issue a warning. This will be the biggest mistake Serbia has ever made in the last 20 years, because it's absolutely clear the security guarantee of NATO via KFOR for Kosovo unity and for territorial integrity, and also via the post-contract Dayton agreement, the territorial integrity of Bosnia is secured by NATO. And don't misunderestimate us, because now NATO is not intervening in the Ukraine war, and that's I think actually a mistake, but nevertheless it's not happening. And then some might think, okay, NATO will also not defend Kosovo and Bosnia, but that's not true. It will. And never forget, I'm here in front of one of the towers where the American cruise missiles brought this tower to destruction in '99 in the liberation war of all Balkans, where also Serbia was liberated from Milosevic regime. But unfortunately the Serb extremists and nationalists never saw it that way. They never were celebrating the 5th of October. They were inspiring to kill Djindjic, and they were trying to bring Serbia back into the Russian Putin's fold. And that is exactly what happened after 2003 in various stages, and that's where we are today, unfortunately, still today. And I'm sure they looked very carefully and thought very smart if they can reconquer the north of Kosovo or do a big mess up in Bosnia. And I'm confident that in the mind of many strategists, in the spirit of Apis and all this tradition, they were thinking like that. They were thinking like that, they were planning like this, they were considering it. The only thing which holds them back is that Russia is now bogged down and basically failing. Russia cannot conquer Ukraine and is actually heading for defeat. That was, of course, saving Kosovo and Bosnia, but they also should be very careful to watch that the Bayraktars of Turkey, they will also defend Kosovo and they will defend Bosnia as well. And so will the American Stingers and the German Panzerfaust in case it's needed. And also the Austrian soldiers, which are in Bosnia and Kosovo, they will fight for the territorial integrity of these two countries in case of Serbian war and aggression. And be sure, all sides are studying very, very careful the messages of the Ukraine war and the Ukraine resistance against a much bigger army, and all the 1 billion money, which, or now it's even 1.2, which Serbia is spending in the latest budget. When Serbia is increasing the military spending, it will not lead to any victory. If you break the peace in the Balkans, the post-2000 settlement, and then you will be definitely the pariah state similar like Russia, including full sanctions, including full trade embargo, including all the measures. And again, I call, be very careful, and if you are smart, I would recommend very much to do the contrary, not break the peace, but block the sky for the Russians and join our sanction regime and show that you are really worth to be a EU member state in a political union. Because we are a political union, we are not just an economic union. If you want to be a EU member state, you have to follow also all the sanctions, implement all the sanctions. We have joint European foreign policy. Orban is not the role model. Karl Nehammer is not the role model. You cannot do what you want with Russia and then think that we all look away. This was very unfortunate decisions which Serbia took since the 24th of February. Luckily, under heavy pressure, has not fully gone rogue state like Syria and like Nicaragua. That was very good, But nevertheless, in the last 10 years under Vucic, all this training with the Russians, all these Belarusians, Vostok, Slavic Brotherhood, Do you think we are stupid in Austria and in Germany and in Brussels? Do you think we don't see that? And if you now consider any kind of military escalation, like in September 2021, for number plates and all these things. Yeah? There will be the suspension of the EU candidate status, and you will never join the European Union. Be sure about it. 100% sure. So I call very seriously all these people who are thinking for a new war or who are opposing recognition, yeah, and think they can now, in the shadow of this Russian invasion of Ukraine, somehow piggyback towards escalation and reconquest. Yeah. Be very careful, yeah? And we are watching you, we understand exactly what you think, and you will fail, and if you dare, you will pay much more bigger consequences than Russia, which has already very big consequences, because Russia in no way can nuclear defend and extend its nuclear guarantees to Serbia. So we will be I would be very careful, and I call for peace. But we are now learning that we have to also defend peace and our values also militarily. So please, this is a warning, take it very seriously. And while I'm not any kind of official, I mean it very seriously. Be sure about it. So think about it, close the sky up there and don't touch any borders in the Balkans. And my recommendation, come to real peace terms, recognize Kosovo, support our sanctions, show that you are worthy to be member of the political union, European Union, apply to NATO, change your security structures, repent the past sins, and be a real European Serbia and leave the Russian world and join the European world. And don't dream about the own Serbian world somewhere. It is the Serbian world inside the European Union of our freedoms, yes, like the Albanian world, like everybody can have his own world if he wants, yeah, but inside the European Union and inside NATO with the Euro, and that's the way we can have peace in Europe, and the only way we can have peace in Europe. And if any extremists will now commit any sins or crimes or attacks, then it will have very sinister and very dark and very consequential results for all Serbs, and I warn them for that. Good, I hope I was clear. I think I couldn't find a more symbolic place for exactly that, and I'm very sorry I had to say it so clearly, but I'm very worried for peace, and so everybody should be, because I know there are people in this government plotting for war, and it's a question now at the 3rd of April, who will win, who can really command governmental resources, the war party or the peace party, and I call to vote for European Serbia. Thanks a lot for peace. Bye.